So I tried to warn you. I tried to warn you. All work and no play makes Jack a dull boy. My good news is my current investment portfolio is up over half of a basis point on total equity. Thank you, thank you. I owe it all to the people who knew more about trading and took pity on me. I owe it all to you. I'm trying to conduct myself in a manner that would make you guys proud. That you would look upon what I'm doing and say, "Wow, okay, I can I can see how you could go that route if you wanted to. What about oh, okay. Okay. But what if yeah, yeah. That's the response. That is the response that I strive to get from you. And you know who you are. But I also know you well enough to know that if you were to say like, "Well, let me see the nuts and bolts of that. How exactly are you doing it?" When I say, "Well, yeah, it's not. No. It works for me. It makes sense to me. It's within my tolerance." And then you look at what I just said right there and be like, "That's my boy. That's my boy." And maybe you're doing this on my video right now too. Like, wow, he's being so delightfully vague. He's up over half a basis point. Is he really? Is he really? Well, yeah, really. But who who is who is to say that you're gonna be like a half a basis point? Half a basis point. Well, who would lie about half a basis point? One, and two, I'm using lingo like a basis point. Why I use a basis point, which is like 1/100th of a percent. Well, besides that's what the growth actually is on this venture, on this scheme of mine. But it's also one of those things that lets people that actually trade for a living be like, well, there is some growth to be had. Now, what I will tell you, what I will share with you, for those that are watching this and think, well, I really like to invest, and I know a lot of people do. A lot of people want to get into investment because it seems so key to when you get to a certain point. You don't want to do a physical wage labor job anymore, right? There are fixed incomes, and then there are variable incomes. And this, I think it's like a lesson that if if you work in an industry where your income is variable, such as sales, like and I'm relating this to my work. We have variable operations, which is up front with the sales department, and then we have fixed operations, which is my wheelhouse back in the back. The idea, of course, variable, you could have great gains, and then you could have times of want. Fixed operations is designed to be a little bit more steady, a little bit more secure. It's fixed operations that keep the lights on. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So now the problem with my zero point 0.6 basis point, zero point 0.6 basis points, 6/10 of a basis point for this week of trading. The problem with it is the amount of capital you need to make a living off of a zero point 0.6. And if I were to market as a prop trader or a group trader, how much of other capital can I actually plug into my scheme? I don't know that yet. So that's when it comes time to being a professional trader or a proprietary trader. I believe, one needs to be able to articulate, okay, if I have X amount of dollars of capital, here's how much I can return on it with this particular plan. And I can't articulate it at this point, so I really got nothing. I mean, is it enough to day trade and stay at home? I don't, is my basis point gain something that can just be taken back? Not necessarily. I mean, there are of course changes, and my particular scheme, it's a little bit more secure in its yield, but it of course, everything's got its risks, and the way that my plan works, it was actually a little bit more complex to plug in the risk management. It isn't necessarily just a matter of loss, because it's something that yields a gain. But I don't know. I guess this video is kind of for the financial people, my financial homies, letting y'all know where I was at with it. And of course, you know what I'm going to do? I just thought of it now. I'm going to give a treat for everyone. This video is going to run a little long, as most of these are. Maybe we've turned a corner. Maybe the daily doses are getting a little bit longer here. Why did I get back into this in the first place? Besides just that, I tried something different for work and it didn't pan out. New guy in the club, hunting club, and we were on our way up to the camp, and he was talking about a particular investment, which I will not name. Again, the reason being, if I name anything, and this is for you people who make financial videos, when you mention anything, it can be construed as an endorsement. Now, not technically, you wouldn't necessarily get pinched by the SEC, but people take things that are mentioned as like a mover. If you were to mention a particular stock, Hit the Bid channel mentioned one, so naturally, I guarantee you there's people in the audience that were watching that particular stock, and then a person who may just be starting out, may be looking at that as a mover, but the move's done. So anyway, he was talking about this particular stock, and he said, well, when I was working at the hospital, one of the doctors came up to me and he says, hey, you need to buy this particular stock. It's $18, right? And the guy was like, and I dragged my feet, and I thought, no, blah 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 blah. And next thing I know, 6 months later, it's up to 156. And he's like, so what do you think? What do you think of that thing? Now it's at 2 something, and you think it'll still go higher? And I went on this big long diatribe of trend following and trend trading, and then we got into short selling. And I'll tell you what, if you really want to know where your education is as a trader, explain short selling to a person who has no idea what it is. Explain it like as if you were explaining it to a child. There's the challenge. So I talked to him about market direction and things like that, and I get through this whole thing. And this guy's a player. I mean, he has a few grand to mess around with, and he wants to get into it more. And he says that thing that I've heard many times of, well, when I have money that I'm okay to lose, when I have money that I can afford to lose, then I'll get into it. And I couldn't help. And Dan, you're going to be so proud of me for saying this. I couldn't help but quote Lindsey Williams right there. And it says, I say to him, I said, you don't ever want to trade with money that you think you can afford to lose. You need to trade as if you cannot afford to lose. Hopefully he understood. But I don't think he did, and I'll tell you why. After going on, I probably talked nonstop for 30 to 45 minutes. And after all that, he thought, okay, so what do you think about that stock? The one that we started out with that the doctor told him about. Oh, I couldn't believe it. Oh, maybe he didn't mean it the way that I thought he meant it. Maybe he was trying to plug that stock into the context of everything that I was talking about to back test it, but I don't feel like he did. I just don't feel like he did. So, where am I going with all this? Um, if those are the type of people that are in the market, if that is my competition, then I think I can beat those people. I think I can beat those people. I've heard their schemes. I've heard their plans. Better yet, when they have no plan, they just bring their money. I think I can beat those people. The trick, of course, is to try to avoid the people who can beat me. So I get to be a shark. I'll stay in the shallow water. But I gotta be cautious because sharks do eat their own. And there are some mighty sharks out there. And they come up from the bottom, bite your ass in half, wait until you quit squirming, and then eat you the rest of the way. hopefully, knowing that is half the battle. Okay, with all that being said, let me know what you guys think. If what about this update, and if there's anything you'd like to hear about regarding what exactly I have going on at the moment, or you have some questions about what I've left off at the side, please feel free so I can tailor make your daily dose. I'd love to be able to tailor make your daily dose. In the meantime, though, this is Lambdog76 signing out, and of course, Lambdog1 Studios behind that golden microphone of clarity. Catch y'all down the road.